Okay, our third speaker is an online business coach, best-selling author, and creative entrepreneur who has built multiple six-figure businesses from ground up. Exciting. Known for her practical, no-fluff approach to digital products and online marketing, Mai has helped thousands of creators, coaches, and service providers turn their knowledge into income without burning out. But behind the strategy and success is a deeper story. When her son Alphonse was born with Down syndrome and a life-threatening heart condition, everything changed. That began as a creative pursuit, became a mission to build a business that gave her both financial stability and freedom to be fully present to her family. The urgent need for surgery, the long hospital days, and the emotional toll of that season became the catalyst for her to build a business that worked for her, not the other way around. Today, this tough mom helps other parents and creatives do the same to build meaningful businesses around their real lives with flexibility, purpose, and heart. Friends, please welcome Mai De Leon.
Hello, everybody. Can you see my slide? Hopefully you can all see it.
Yes.
All
Yes.
right. Thank you so much. Hopefully I'll be able to share everything within the 20-minute timeline, but here I am. I'm going to be sharing trials and triumphs of raising Alphonse. So here we go. I'd like you to meet the De Leons. So this is our small family. I have twin daughters, and Alphonse came 7 years later. It was a surprise, actually, very much a surprise for my husband and I. He was in Singapore, and we were planning to live with him, but we learned that I'm pregnant. And I did not tell him I was pregnant until he was able to secure a house in Singapore, because I know that he's not gonna continue with the move if he learned that I am pregnant at the time. So I kept it. I let him rent the HDB, and then I told him I was pregnant. But when Alphonse was born, I thought he's gonna have like some grudge against me because I did not tell him I was pregnant, or because I gave birth to a son with Down syndrome. I worried a lot. But I was surprised he was the most supportive. So my husband actually wasn't worried about the heart condition. So Alphonse was born not just with Down syndrome, he was born with tetralogy of Fallot. This is four anomalies of the heart. So there are four, it's not just one heart condition. He also had retractile testis, which already healed on its own. He had umbilical hernia, so the umbilical cord is bulging, and it also healed on its own. Now he has visual impairment and hearing impairment. And I forgot to mention in this slide, he was also diagnosed with autism just a few months ago. So that's his very short story. But we are still thankful because despite of everything, I know that there are families who are struggling harder than we do. So I'm thankful that even if we had those challenges, Alphonse was still, we consider him healthy despite the heart condition. So I learned about the pregnancy on 2012, May 27th. This was his first ultrasound. But the last ultrasound that I had with him at 30 weeks, I felt something different. You know, when you're a mom, you can feel something like you have this uneasy feeling that you cannot explain. That was how I felt. I never knew that he'd be having Down syndrome because I declined the amniocentesis in Singapore. And I was even mocking the doctor at the time. Like, why would you give me such thing? And my husband was concerned. So if you get it, what's going to happen? And he said, and I told him, they're going to abort the baby. And he said, so why would you do that? If you learned that he will have Down syndrome at the time, will you abort him? And I said, no. So why? So we did not waste the money. We did not waste anything on it. we avoided that amniocentesis. I don't know if others opt for that, but um, in right after he was born, the doctors did not tell me about the heart condition. They only told me about the Down syndrome diagnosis. They gave me a day. They were so generous. They gave me a day to cry buckets of tears for the diagnosis, and then the following day, there were a bunch of doctors that came into the ward, and they explained that there's heart murmur and that he has the trilogy of Fallot. So at the time, my husband just got accepted in Singapore. In fact, he was just 2 months in Singapore. Sorry. Yeah. No. A year in Singapore. No. I cannot remember. So he got in Singapore October 11th, and then I gave birth 2011, and I gave birth December 2012. So he's a year in Singapore, but we did not plan for we did not plan having a child with special needs. So you can imagine hearing about the surgery cost. It's gonna cost us about 1 million pesos in Singapore, in the Philippines, but it's about $25,000 US dollars at the time. And at the time, we did not have the money. All I had is the courage. So my husband was already planning. I'm gonna sell the house. I'm gonna sell the car. I'm gonna sell all of my Gundam toys. He has a ton of Gundams. And I calmed him down and I told him, don't let me find a way. So this was the way. In the beginning, I was accepting jobs like website designs and all that. So just I could help alleviate the cost. And then people started chiming in and started telling me, you just gave birth. So why would you work? Give us your PayPal account. And I was shy. I don't want to ask for donations. I still had my pride back then. So I did not want to just simply ask for donations because people might judge me. Your husband is working in Singapore and then you're going to ask for money, something like that. People can be judgy. But despite all of that, I followed the advice of one of the friends who asked me to start a crowdfunding. That was the first time I heard about crowdfunding. So this crowdfunding is still in Indiegogo. This was our crowdfunding in Indiegogo. We aimed for $12,500. And then my scrapbooks, I was designing scrapbook kits back then, and my owner decided to run a collaboration. So we had a collaboration called An Innocent Heart, and Alphonse was the beneficiary of that. That scrapbook kit earned $7,000. The owner of the shop gave it all to us. So this crowdfunding earned 11,173. And then I also had sale on my own scrapbook shop for a total of $5,000. We were able to get the 25,000 US dollars that time, just in time. We did it 30 days because we were given 30 days from the birth to the surgery. So he had his surgery, open heart surgery, at 6 weeks old. So you can imagine he's very tiny. And this was him after the surgery. I didn't want to post the photos with all the wires, so I kept it neat and tidy right in here. And then after the surgery, of course, the next struggles would be therapies and so many other things we will have to deal with. But we focused on Alphonse. So in Singapore, we were not able to get a lot of therapies, not just because of the budget, but because we're also, it's very difficult to get schedules for PT and OT back then. So we had a PT, and this was one of the shots one of my favorite shots. He was first learning to stand up right here. Okay. And right after his heart surgery as well, we flew him to Singapore on March 10. So this was on the Instagram days, the early Instagram days where filters are in. And you can see on the right side, he has hearing impairment. So this hearing aid actually, it was very difficult for us because when we learned that he had severe to profound hearing loss, and he needed hearing aids, and the hearing aids cost 4,500 Singaporean. We were in Singapore when we learned that. Actually, Bobong stepped up and offered to lend us money to buy the hearing aids. And my husband was super thankful. We were not planning on borrowing any money because when you're in a foreign country, you're living on your own, you tend to avoid debts. And that was that we avoided so much. So Bobong and her husband, Edgar, offered it to us. So they lent us the money for the first hearing aid and we pay them afterwards. But it was very, very convenient to have the hearing aid right after. Although we did not know at the time that Alphonse had um, this condition where he didn't want to put the hearing aids for too long. So it didn't last that much. He still has hearing impairment right now and visual impairment. But despite that, he became his big sister's favorite. So he's gonna play with them and we call them his slaves. He's slaving away his big sisters. So whatever he wants, he gets. He's the spoiled brat. So this is them now on the right side. They're bigger. The twins are almost 20 and Alphonse is now um this year is going to turn 13. He's 12 right now. Okay. And he loves Salisbury steak at SNR. If you are in the Philippines right now, he loves SNR Salisbury steak. In the past, he used to love burger steak by Jollibee, but since he tasted the SNR Salisbury steak, there's no Jollibee for him. No more Jollibee. And then for spaghetti, he likes spaghetti, tomato, like the not sweet ones. He doesn't like the Jollibee spaghetti, the sweet ones. He likes the spaghetti sauce based. And he loves swimming. I think all of parents with of children with special needs, they are water babies, admit it or not. So the only challenge that we have when it comes to swimming is he doesn't just have hearing impairment. He has some issues with his eardrums. So it's not like busted, but there's like a hole in the eardrums. So whenever he swims, he gets ear infection very easily. But despite that, we are not the typical family of child with special needs. My husband would always say, I don't expect much from other people. I do a little bit sometimes, though. We don't ask for special treatments. We don't demand people like, hey, I have a child with special needs. You need to do this for me and that. We don't do that. We have less expectation from Alphonse as well. And we don't give up hope, but we know our son's limitations. So we don't push him to try harder or for him to do better under the pretext of they are capable, they're going to be able to do a lot of things, but because we know exactly who he is. But don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying don't give your son therapies, don't get your son to school, or don't get your children or daughters to school. I'm just saying we understand the child's needs better than what we want. So we prioritize what he needs more than what we want. Because as parents, we want our kids to be better. We want our kids to somehow catch up with other kids. And I have seen parents who did that, like pushing vitamins and supplements to their children to the point of the children getting infections and kidney issues. I have seen those as well. So I did not want to do that. I only wanted to keep him comfortable and happy. So for us, his happiness is our happiness. So his hobby right now is driving around the subdivision with open window. I don't post this on social media because I don't want to get canceled. He likes to feel the wind on his face. So he's going to catch the wind with a shirt on like this. And that's what he loves. So we give him what he wants. He's actually a spoiled brat, like I told you already. But yeah, because for us, we care more about his comfort than our pride, because this journey is about him, not ours. We're just the supporting actors right here. All right. So, but I have one thing that I don't know if this is more of an expectation. It's just a pet peeve. I don't like when people call me blessed. You're blessed for having a child with special needs, or you're lucky. Your child is your lucky charm. Again, don't get me wrong. My child is my lucky charm. He is the catalyst that helped me really build my online business. But I don't want hearing this from other people like you're blessed, because it feels more of a consolation, something to shut you up and just accept whatever it is that was given to you. It felt like that. It feels like that. Whenever someone tells me I'm blessed, it feels more of a like, stop whatever it is you want to share. You're given that, just accept it. You're given a son with special needs, just accept it. That's the, I don't know if it's just my interpretation. I know they mean well, but there was a time when somebody told me like, you're blessed, and I challenged that statement. And I told her, if I'm so blessed, you should have one too. You know what the girl told me, what my friend told me? She said, oh, please don't. So don't tell me I'm blessed because I have a child with special needs. We have different challenges. That's the reason why I primarily don't want to be called blessed or lucky. Because if it's fair, if it's a blessing, if it's all about, when we look at it, my husband wanted to put it this way. If I look at my son's condition on a scientific point of view, it's easy to accept it because it's evolution. It's scientific. But when you put it from a religious point of view, he has questions. He has a ton of questions. So he'd rather not ask questions. He'd rather be more scientific and logical, because that's the thing that gives him more comfort. And for me, for us, that's enough. So I'll see you again later on the Q&A.